Hi, today we're going to be having a look at the tarot and we're going to look at the major arcana. And the first card is the Fool. Well, firstly, we're going to have a look at the basics and we'll unfold it as we go along. We'll have a few experiences to see what we're remembering. And let's have a look at the Fool. The Fool says, I don't know exactly how this will work, but I feel called to leap. Or you may not feel ready, but there is magic in the air, and the universe is waiting to support you with infinite love and guidance. The Fool is all about new beginnings, adventure, and stepping into the vast unknown. New beginnings in areas that might be completely new to you. This is a bold step in the direction that your heart is leading you. The Fool walks forward with a sense of innocence, joy, and openness. They're not held back by past failures or fears. They're in the now, following the spark of excitement. This card is playful and bold. Sometimes the Fool can be a little naive as well, but that's the beauty of this innocence of I'm just going to go for it. It reminds us that life doesn't need to be figured out, it needs to be felt. The Fool is about being spontaneous. Life is full of endless possibilities. This is a card of adventure, of trusting your heart and allowing life to surprise you. People who embody the Fool: Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, Neo in The Matrix, Bilbo Baggins from The Hobbit, Miley Cyrus or Madonna. They're always expressing themselves regardless of what other people say. They have that rebellious spirit of, I'm going to do what's right for me. Lady Gaga, she's unapologetically creative and eccentric and often ahead of her time. Jim Carrey started as a goofball comedian but later spoke publicly about spirituality, ego, and cosmic consciousness, a fool evolving into the sage. His leap into spiritual philosophy surprised many. Elizabeth Gilbert, she wrote Eat, Pray, Love, and she lived it. She walked away from a conventional life to travel the world. Keanu Reeves quietly follows his own unique path, often described as otherworldly or outside of Hollywood norms. The Fool can also be anyone through the centuries who has come up with a new invention or a new idea that has really changed and shaped the world, and people didn't know how they were going to do it or said it wasn't possible before. The Fool is all about adventure. This person trusts their instincts and know that they need to follow their heart. An example of the Fool's energy is if you have a project, say you're writing a book, and someone tells you to do it in a different way or to add in something different, but this is not what the Fool wants. So the Fool will stick with their ideas and say, no, thank you. And they'll be very glad they did. They won't regret it at all. Whether the direction ahead is smooth sailing or not doesn't matter. That's not what the Fool card is about. It's about following your gut, having trust in your direction, whatever may come of it, good or bad, hard lessons or easy lessons. This is about following your dreams. That's all. The Fool is in great trust and can see windows of opportunities where other people might not be able to. Does that make you crazy? No. Some will oppose the Fool, tell the Fool that it's wrong, but other people can't see what's exactly right for you. They don't know your true path. And as long as you feel good and optimistic about this new adventure, the Fool is your green light to go ahead. The Fool tells you you're not crazy for dreaming big. You're not foolish for starting again. This is your soul's nudge to leap and to trust you'll learn what you need along the way. The Fool tells you that the timing is right. The time is now. So take the leap of faith, or you are already taking the leap of faith. And the Fool invites you to relax, have fun, play. The Fool encourages us to treat life like one great big adventure, like a child, to just go for it. When it feels right, just be in flow with everything that comes your way. The Fool doesn't need to have all the skills. You don't need the go ahead from someone else. You don't need approval, all the skills, all the tools. You're going to learn them along the way. You don't need to have them all. The Fool doesn't need them all to begin with. Just go for it. You're ready. You'll learn what you need along the way. The Fool is excited about this new journey, but it also a little bit naive about everything that will entail. But that's okay. Some everyday examples are a child learning to ride a bike, a family having a baby, or buying a first home and getting a mortgage. All a little bit scary, but fun at the same time. So, some more examples of the Fool is someone quitting a stable 9 to 5 job to start their own business, even though they've never run one before. A recent graduate moving to a new city with no a job lined up, but full of hope and excitement. A person booking a one-way ticket to another country with a backpack, a journal, and no real plan, just a desire to explore. Going on a spiritual retreat in a jungle or a desert, not knowing what the experience will bring, but trusting the process. Entering a new romantic relationship after a long time alone, deciding to open their heart fully without overthinking it. Saying yes to love, even if it doesn't make logical sense, but it feels right. Or an artist sharing their first piece of work publicly without caring what people think, just wanting to express themselves. Someone finally launching their podcast, book, or YouTube channel, even though they have no experience and no clear roadmap. Beginning a spiritual awakening journey, buying tarot cards, meditating, or diving into metaphysics after a sudden pull or synchronicity. Trusting intuitive nudges without fully understanding them yet. Maybe it's leaving behind old identities, labels, or expectations, so just so they can live more authentically themselves. Changing their name, their gender expression, or lifestyle completely to align with who they truly are on the inside. The Fool reminds us that every master was once a beginner, and the courage to begin, even naively, is where the magic is born. It's not foolishness, it's faith in the unknown and yourself. Some more examples might be people leaving everything behind to live out of a van and travel the world. An entrepreneur launching a passion project or a startup with no guarantee of success. People on their first ayahuasca retreat, first tarot deck, or the first dark night of the soul, venturing into the unknown territory with trust in something greater. Or people that are standing up for causes despite published backlash or risk, trusting in the path even without a clear outcome. Think of Greta Thunberg at 15. She was a great example of the full energy in activism. Living as your true self, venturing into the unknown territory, culturally or socially, for anyone who's doing anything against the norm, whether someone comes out as being queer, non-binary, gender expansive, even maybe they're a different religion, or maybe they're into witchcraft, maybe they're into something that's, not the norm. All of these examples are people living as they're in their truth. The Fool is living in their truth, in your authentic self, and doing what feels right to you. Paul Fenton Smith in the Advanced Tarot says that the Fool is how the average person perceives the wise individual who doesn't follow convention and is considered eccentric. The Fool is an original. And the Fool can also be a positive card for travel. And the Fool encourages us to look at things with a fresh, new perspective. So let's see what has stuck in your head, test your knowledge, really cement it in by saying it out loud. And you can write things down as well if that helps you. But let's focus on three words or three paragraphs that you think about when you see the Fool. Do that now. I always think it's great to think of songs that remind you, help to trigger your memory. So, some songs that I have found for the Fool: Rome by the B-52s, Times Like These by the Foo Fighters, Go Your Own Way by Fleetwood Mac, Lose Yourself by Eminem. You might have some other songs as well. Have a listen to these songs. If you find some other songs, great. Find some songs that really resonate and remind you of this Fool energy. The Fool in relationships. The Fool can indicate new or early stages of a relationship, someone seeking fun and spontaneity rather than commitment. The Fool can also represent having an open heart and letting go of past hurts and going for the new relationship. And in existing relationships, the Fool is talking about opening up and maybe dating others, can indicate a lack of commitment. Or the Fool may want to inject more fun and spontaneity into the existing relationship. Career, the Fool talks about new jobs, career changes, but you have limited experience in the areas that you're looking at, excitement and uncertainty in your career. It can also talk about maybe you're an entrepreneur, but be careful because fools in the career area can be susceptible to get rich quick schemes. When we look at finances, the Fool talks about taking a chance and working hard. You'll make more than you thought. Or it can talk about spontaneous spending, needing to have more of a balance between sensible spending and calculated risks with investments. You can see that with the Fool energy. Usually the Fool does think about it a little bit. Also, financial opportunities, potential growth and loss, but there is financial opportunities, and an optimistic outlook on money, but it can be a little bit unpredictable as well. The advice of the Fool: go back to basics and let destiny shape your life. Take a leap of faith and trust your instincts. Also, look where you're going to avoid unnecessary pitfalls. It is a good time to travel and commit yourself and trust the universe. So, to wrap up, if the Fool is optimism and excitement about new adventures or changes, and being a free spirit, being spontaneous, knowing their direction that they're going in, then the reversed Fool is fear or anxiety about the new changes or the unknown factor of the adventure. The Fool reverse could be holding yourself back or trying to have more freedom because you do feel stuck in life. Or the Fool reverse can also be being too reckless by not thinking about others or the consequences of your actions. The Fool reverse can lack direction as well. Let's look into it a little bit more. The Fool reversed. The Fool reversed basically acts recklessly without thinking. The Fool reversed avoids responsibility. The Fool reversed can be naive to the point of self sabotage. The Fool reversed can ignore red flags or advice when they really should be listening. And the Fool reverse stays stuck in fear or indecision when they're being called to leap. The Fool reversed is a dreamer with so much light and innocence, but they can often be naive about those around them, and they can be drawn into roles that don't serve them. The Fool reversed can often leap into bold, visionary ideas without the ethics, the structure, or the truth to back it. The promise without the substance. The Fool reversed can be full of delusional self-confidence, attention-seeking, reckless behavior, and is with disastrous consequences. The Fool reversed energy is ungrounded, defiant, disconnected from consequence. The Fool reversed can also be self-sabotaging out of fear and naivety as well. Some everyday examples of the Fool reversed. The Fool reversed, quitting a job impulsively with no savings, no plan, no clarity, and then panicking when this really hits. The Fool reverse could be starting a business based on hype, ignoring research, advice, support, or burning out quickly. The Fool reversed, staying in the same routine or relationship for years because you're too afraid to try something new. The fear holding the Fool back, that is. And also the fear is feeling the call to travel, starting something and changing direction, but constantly talking yourself out of it with what ifs. The Fool reverse can also be believing everything will just work out without actually putting in any effort or having any structure. The Fool reverse can be thinking someone else will rescue you instead of taking empowered steps forward. And on the other end, the Fool reversed can avoid responsibility. They can blame others when things go wrong instead of owning their decisions. And the Fool reverse can also be constantly starting things and never finishing them, always chasing that next shiny thing. When you think of the Fool reversed, you can think of, ruthless business people or investor type people who take advantage of other people to gain their own financial gain. You can think of them as also someone who isolates themselves so much, or someone who is a bit of an outcast originally, but then they're, not a very grounded person, and they can move into extremes in sort of more shadow areas. The Fool reverse can be summed up like when idealism turns into disillusionment, when adventure becomes escapism, when boldness turns into recklessness, when fear of failure causes paralysis. The Fool reversed. The Fool reverse can be reckless, can take risks without considering all of the outcomes. The Fool reverse can be naive, can have anxiety. The Fool reverse can be about a new project or new beginning, but not really liking it or not feeling ready for it. The Fool reverse can feel like they have too much worry because they feel like they don't have the skills and the resources to make the project a success. The Fool reversed can talk about the timing not being right. Also, maybe something is holding you back. In the Fool reversed, things can come to a standstill because of your worry, and it can stop you from taking action, especially if you can't see the outcome. And this can come down to a need to control everything. So you need to balance that out with trust, knowing the universe has your back. The Fool can also be about taking too many risks and acting recklessly, being too spontaneous and adventurous with disregard for the consequences of your actions. The Fool reversed can also, have the anxiety and the worries, but they're still embracing the free spirit, so that they're dancing in the bedroom like no one is watching. While the Fool trusts themselves and what they want, what they feel is right, the Fool reversed talks about needing to follow advice, even if they feel like it is not what they want to be doing. This Fool reversed is not always aware of the consequences of their personal actions. The Fool reversed can shrink from opportunities because of past disappointments, and it makes them a bit, reluctant to learn new skills. In general, the Fool reversed describes ill considered plans. This can be a person who leaps from one chaotic situation into another without considering personal contribution to the surrounding chaos. It can also be when someone who is burdened with debt applies for additional credit cards to cover their expenses. So, at best, this is a person finding short term solutions. So, take a minute now, test your knowledge, say out loud or write down or do both 3 words or 3 paragraphs or 3 sentences that you think of when you look at the Fool reversed. Go ahead and do that now. So, the Fool reversed in relationships. Exercise caution and don't look through rose colored glasses. Immaturity, getting in the way of loving relationship. This person could be a little bit immature and silly. The Fool reverse may lack commitment in relationships, or it could be a risky relationship. This innocence and spontaneity are triumphing over reason. And the Fool reversed in relationships can be impulsive. In career, the Fool reversed is unclear. Risky choices, reckless decisions, lack of awareness. And the Fool reversed could also mean feeling stuck, feeling bored. Or the Fool reverse makes hasty decisions like quitting a job with no new job. The Fool reverse in finances. Foolish purchases, lack of planning, caution needed against recklessness. The outcome is stagnation or a lack of progress in their finances. And the advice for the Fool in reverse: evaluate goals, small steps, be grounded, reassess your path, and take advice from those around you. The Fool reversed isn't about being stupid, it's about being ungrounded. It's either paralyzed by fear or acting without wisdom. I'm going to say that again. The Fool reversed is either paralyzed by fear or acting without wisdom. The Fool reversed reminds us to pause, realign, and leap only when head and heart are both in check. Advice for the reader: trust your feelings as the reader when you're doing readings. Number 1, if you feel joy when you pull this card, then the advice is to go ahead. If you feel doubt, then the advice would be more planning is needed. Number 2, pay attention to which symbol catches your eye first. This symbol can be a sign of the card's meaning in this case. You can also have a look at the other cards in the spread to get more information about the meaning. The Fool is numbered 0. 0 is a symbol of cycles, ending a cycle, beginning of a new cycle, infinite possibilities and potential, lack of restriction, maintaining curiosity, and approaching life without fear in your heart. And you can see the little dog. So the dog is a companion. The dog is loyalty. Loyalty, a companion on your journey. The dog supports the Fool's inner desires that others may not see. The dog encourages you to charge forward. And this can also mean that maybe it's a good idea to take a partner or a friend to help you out on the journey. Go with what you feel. The dog can be a warning to look ahead because it's about to walk off a cliff. See how you feel when you look at the dog. The dog can also mean spiritual protection. The bag, let's look at the bag. So, needing very little on your journey, moving beyond materialism. The Fool doesn't have much in their bag. Moving beyond ego, removing physical attachments. All you need is within. Another way to look at the little bag could be you don't need a 10-step plan or external validation. You just need what you've got within. The rose, the white equals purity. Beautiful journey ahead. That can still be difficult though. The white rose can also talk about clearing your mind of past worries or hurts for intuitive connection. Staying open-hearted, not overthinking, just following joy. And the mountains behind the Fool can be talking about challenges yet to come, but you're not paying any attention to them. They're not stopping you. The cliff, leap into new territory. Risky, maybe. Magical, absolutely. New beginning or potential danger. The moment before the bold move. The cliff can be talking about this is the moment before the bold move, launching your dream business, moving cities, falling in love again, knowing there's a risk but leaping anyway. The Fool's gaze is looking upwards, trusting in the universe, spiritual idealism, choosing to follow inspiration over logic, the feeling of being called to something even if it makes no sense on paper. The bright sun, a divine light, clarity, cosmic guidance, hope, optimism, and a higher power guiding your journey. The rays, one of the rays from the sun actually lines up with the Fool's staff as well. This is a yes from the universe that you feel in your body before the leap of faith. And the colourful clothing, the soul's uniqueness, creative energy, expressing your authentic self, dressing, speaking, or living boldly as you are, even if it breaks the mold. When we have a look at what our eyes are drawn to, go with your intuition on what that's saying to you about this person. The Fool says you don't need permission. You don't need all the skills and you don't need a map. You'll gather what you need along the way. And if someone says you should do it another way, the Fool smiles and says, no, thanks, I trust myself. Whether it's smooth or rocky, this is your path. The Fool is a way of living. It says, be curious, be brave, be wildly, beautifully you. The world needs more dreamers who leap, not because they know what will happen, but because they trust their heart to guide the way. So let's see what has stuck in your head, test your knowledge, really cement it in by saying it out loud. And you can write things down as well if that helps you. But let's focus on 3 words or 3 paragraphs that you think about when you see the Fool. Do that now. So take a minute now, test your knowledge, say out loud or write down or do both. 3 words or 3 paragraphs or 3 sentences that you think of when you look at the Fool reversed. Go ahead and do that now.